not, like I said, we'll address that later. So is, and just so you know, this is my contact info. So it works. And if you want to meet me later with some questions, you can always contact support as well, and they'll be forwarded over. Or your sales guy will reach out to you, and if you have somebody, just, you know, and reach out. So touch somebody. I'm not going to go through all these screenshots here. I just want to jump into the product and kind of start showing you guys around. So what is PacketTrap? PacketTrap is a holistic IT infrastructure monitoring solution, i.e. you can pretty much monitor a device with an IP address, you know, different levels of degree to different devices that we support. Obviously, we can't support every single out there, but it's very broad-based. We like to be vendor agnostic, so we do our best with all the vendors out there. So what is all your modules at the top? I'll cover them in a little bit. You have all your customers in this drop-down window here. Color coordinated for you, so red light, green light. Red means the device is down. Green means that it's up and running. You get some basic system information, CPU, memory, the DNS name, the host name, and then towards the right here you can see who's logged into the system. The little guy right here on the right-hand side, you'll see that this refers to an agent. So our solution is both agent and agentless, and this gives us the capability to pretty much monitor directly all the devices. Some other vendors out there may monitor the agent, you know, by showing the IP config and stuff like that on the device itself. We actually monitor the devices separately, so it gives a little bit more of a control of the environment and the type of things that we can do. So on the left-hand side is your navigation pane, I guess you can call that. We have certain modules for specific vendors, Cisco wireless controllers, Avaya, ShoreTel, PBX systems, and stuff like that. What these do is they incorporate the approach to monitoring that particular system. So we've locked down the monitors there, and people can't mess around with that. Orientation, logical grouping of devices, what I have here in this customer's environment. So I have a SQL server, I have a device IP SLA on there, I have ESX, VoIP monitoring, and whatnot. And I'll go in a little bit later. Mapping, this is a really cool feature. This allows the IT professional. So when you experience, let me go to a little bit different map. When you experience, you know, network issues or might be disrupted or something like that, you want to be able to see it from a high-level perspective. So, you know, when things go wrong, obviously understanding what the problem is would be the first step. So isolating the region where the issues are coming from. And credentials, I'll cover those in a little bit. Let's go back to the device view. So, down basic system information, a lot of device, you get overall CPU, memory, more system information and whatnot. The alerts that are triggered, you can manage from here. We do have built-in PSA integrations through pretty much all the main vendors. We have our own solution, PacketTrap PSA. We do integrate with Autotask, ConnectWise, and TigerPaw as well. So we're agnostic in that sense as well. So you can use all. Where my bias is. So with that, to manage your work orders, it's a little bit of a different conversation. So you can manage it within the system here, or if you're using a ticketing system, then you can manage them from there. But it's so closing out the ticket in one of those PSA will automatically close the ticket in the RMM here. So it'll go back from yellow to green, and you can automate that as well. Device, and this will give you more device detailed information on how you've configured the policies, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. There's pre-canned configured policies with built-in mods in there, so monitoring will be out of the box. Running proxies, Windows logs for troubleshooting purposes, so getting to the root cause of a problem. There's things that you for when trying to diagnose or figure out instances, or trying to if you want to reproduce the error, stuff like that occurred. Management settings. Now, one thing I didn't mention, from this main screen, there's a thing that you can do, not just stare at it and see what's going on. Built-in network diagnostic tool. So if you want to do an DNS audit or something like that, let's say a customer's having a problem with logging into their internet, right, and or their web browser, could be an issue. So a DNS misconfiguration, maybe it's not looking it up the right way. So you can figure that out with the DNS audit. And you have traffic jam pretty much simulates network throughput. So if you have issues and you want to try to see what the issues were, try to run, or if you're installing a you want to see what the load on the network would be like, you can use that tool to run that diagnostic. Obviously, you want to do that during off hours, not when people are in business, so it'll slow down their network. SNMP walk, which you can create custom SNMP monitors from and whatnot. Remote control. For remote control that we use, Expert Assist, which is a hybrid between RDP and VNC, RDP, VNC, SSH, Telnet, web browser, and web proxy. So each one can be used for different devices, servers, or you can use for routers and switches, Telnet as well. These, like a demonstration, just type it in there, and I'll see what I can do towards the end. And alerts, just kind of device configuration, names, roles, exclusions, just administrative stuff behind the scenes if you want to exclude certain interfaces from being monitored, or you want to exclude disk volume from being monitored, or how you monitor the device. All that is done in here. We're monitoring, how we're monitoring it, kind of, we do require that each customer has at least one agent installed. When you onboard an initial customer, the initial agent needs to be installed manually. Once that's done, you'll see a screen such as this. It won't down, it'll be green or yellow. And if this is installed, the agent has reported back into the RMM server. You can then just click on Add Devices and run a network discovery. So we have fastest network discovery there. You can find all your devices and deploy the agents relatively fast. There's a few nuances here and there to deploying the agents, but discovering the devices through, say here, that you don't see an agent column. So this little guy right here, every device is being monitored by a different agent. So this is, what is this, 1000? So it's monitored through SNMP WMI. Demo somewhere, so it's down here somewhere. Absorb that. No, I went a little bit fast there, but what we do on the desktop server side. Pretty much we can monitor event logs, running processes, Windows services. Most likely monitor it out of the box, or we can do definitely some form of custom scripting and stuff like that to capture the data that you want. A lot of custom scripting capabilities in a little bit. Let's jump to the switches. Now I mentioned that we monitor the routers and switches and printers and whatnot as standalone devices. Granular with them, and it's just easier to navigate them and change policies for them, so we can configure these devices without having to RDP or VNC into the desktop. I do have some Sonic Wall. There's a Sonic Wall right there. This is the level of monitoring we do for any network device. The first one is ICMP, where we ping the device, make sure that it's up, and we can remote control into it. The second device supports SNMP. We can get a lot more granular, detailed information such as port map, interface utilization, and a few other things. The third layer would be pull syslog, SNMP traps, and network traffic flow configuration backup. And we do have some more support for other devices such as Dell routers and switches and 410s and stuff like that. So information. I can click here to look at what's going on with this device. So it's green means there's no alerts, pretty good, running normally. Here we have CUDA that's running at 94% memory, so we have a few alerts here that have been triggered. Gives you a lot more detailed information, just like on a desktop or server. So this is a QA environment, so just keep that in mind. So this is a sonic wall here, 2400. Here you got your networking statistics. This is detailed information, so this is displaying stuff like that. If you want to see like a flow chart or a graphical display, that's done in the dashboard section, and I'll navigate to there in a little bit to show you what that looks like. So here you have detailed information, CRC errors and whatnot, if any. Traffic flow is supported on the sonic walls here. So you have traffic flow. Now this sonic wall is, no one's pretty much using it in our system here. I'm sure they're running some tests. So let me take you to a little bit of a different support flows. We can capture flows, I guess I can say, from any device. Supports flows, it's a lot better because all you need to do is just point the flows to the device that's monitoring, the agent that's monitoring that device. If it does support flows, we do have an article in our community. It's called PT Flow Config, which you can find either downloading PacketTrap or you can just navigate to the community on our website and take a look at that file. It's called PT Flow Config, and that's to enable traffic analysis on pretty much almost any device. It does require a little bit of a configuration. But what Flow does is it tells you what's traversing the network, and this is a really great troubleshooting tool because it'll tell you from device a certain amount of packets are emanating from. Then you can drill that device and you can specifically see what application is running it, what times this occurred. So is it a no application? Is it acting up? And whatnot. You have a high volume of interface utilization. You can go down and drill down into that particular interface, double click on it, and you can see all the devices, the application that they're running, the host that they're going to, the number of packets in and out, and you can look at this over a trend chart, so a graphical display over a period of time such as this. Drill down even further, so I can go to the individual conversation here. Setting, QoS settings, it'll help me troubleshoot, who's using what at what times, what websites people are going to. A good tool to kind of identify the symptoms and the behavior when issues with the network occur. Syslog, we can alert off this, and we can filter it, collect it, obviously. So as long as the device is capable of sending syslog information, we can collect that as well. Here, things that and one of the things you can use the traffic flow is to see what's changed, right? Were these applications present when you were there? One of the alerts you can configure is if programs are installed or uninstalled. Really, when you're trying to troubleshoot a environment, is has anything changed? So has there been any hard errors? Has there been any event logs or something like that? And that's what PacketTrap is good for, is proactively alerting you on that. To this right here. One of the things to worry about that has changed is configuration backup, right? So if a router settings have been altered for whatever reason, it could disrupt the flow of information. It cause other problems, and so being proactive in noticing these changes and being able to not only get an alert, but go back in time and compare them to a previous configuration file is helpful, especially having to replace hardware or something like that. You have the backup config, so you don't have to replicate it. You can use a TFTP tool to transfer it back. Linux, Mac agents. I just want to point that out there. So we have both those. So this is a hook right here. Configured on this. And I take, but if you enable SNMP, this is a 5.1. With the API credentials, you're going to get the VMware host summary and the virtual machines. If you monitor the actual box, the actual host for disk utilization and interface applications installed, just enable SNMP on there and provide the credential within PacketTrap, and we'll pull those statistics. So we monitor ESX hosts through both API and SNMP. So this is just information that you get from the API credential. Display is reported. So reporting is good because it gives you historical data. It tells you what happened at a particular period of time. So we have pre-canned reports. You can see errors if there's any signal loss or cabling errors and stuff like that. You might want to take a look at. We can alert off this as well, but maybe taking a look at it in a report will make people more visual in some cases. So we have interface utilization, latency. Let me just reports here. And we'll go to 10. All right. Select the interface you want to look at, the time period you're looking at, and once you select the device, you know, every report that you're going to select is going to be based off that device. Select that device again. So if you're for issues, one of the reports that I've created is a network status report. A little bit more information. Let's go to Acme Networks here. Actually, we're going to go to, let's go to policy, a little less. So here are AC errors, alignment errors, discards, and what, and interface utilization. So I can run like this, it'll tells me, okay, what's going on, right? What problems may be running that are causing this. You might know what applications are running during that period of time. So we're going to go here, we're going to take a look at the applications running. Now, let's see, let's look at the top 20. We can go back in time and take a look at today. So if we're shooting, you can see what products be automated, sent on a frequency, sent to the customer. One of the reports you may want to be sending to the customer, an executive summary report, before and after, so giving them the grade of their. Let's go to here. Now, one sec. So looking at this day, you got your, oh, shoot, my bad. Hold on. I forgot to take this. Percent grade, overview, tickets closed, open, and whatnot. Average response time you have here. You can send the customer devices under management. You have your patch management settings, software inventory changes, and with utilization, uptime. Report is the one with traffic flow. There's also one without. Device availability, PDF format as well, so you can send that out to your customers automatically, keeping them informed of what's going on with the network. To scripting real quick, and to go any further, what I'll take is about maybe a 2-minute break. Let people kind of take questions, chat it into the Q&A, not the chat, but the Q&A session, and I will take a look and maybe take a little breather, let people do that. Hardware errors. It's a good question. So PacketTrap does it in a couple of ways. Basically, configure an SNMP trap or a system event log to tell you if there's a RAID failure or disk failure, depending on the vendor. If you're using Dell, you can manage to send SNMP traps or system event logs. Up is fairly, every vendor does it a little bit differently. Some vendors require you to do it from the GUI, and that's the good part about the PacketTrap solution is that once you discover the device, however, let's say monitoring it through your SNMP enabled, how do you get to it, right? So instead of RDPing into here, what you can do is, let's pretend this was for instance, you can connect and click on web proxy, and it'll take you to the SonicWall UI. So for instance, I'll demonstrate that. Right, connect, and web proxy. From my other screen, once it finishes loading. There. If I knew the password to this, I'd log in. I think I know what it is. What's going on? Somebody else asked a question. How do you install an agent on a Mac? If you have a community on that, at the top here, Linux Mac agent install, it has to be installed manually on Macs. It's a simple command. You just have to unzip it and then just run the installer from the terminal, and you'll install the Mac or Linux agent. We 10.10 and above for Mac. A few flavors of, in fact, a lot of flavors of Linux, but I don't know which ones. So here also, if you need to do any kind of configurations, work and stuff like that, troubleshooting, we can just into the device and do that from here. And again, PacketTrap, you have access to this device, so if you're inserting alerts or thresholds and stuff like that, or run the trap tool, you can do that from here as well. And basically, when you run the trap tool, you want to look at log into run the traceroute tool. You will sorry, question. I apologize on that. You want to measure packet loss, increase latency, throughput utilization, and stuff like that, and network behaves. Let's jump into here. So we use any kind of standard script that you can run up against the machine as long as the interpreter is installed and the agent. So this does require having an agent installed. We'll call all the extensions we can use. Built-in scripts, you can build your own scripts. You can use that if you're comfortable with that. You can, many forms like Microsoft and Dell have online communities that have a lot of scripts in there, and you just need to adjust a few parameters to allow them to run for PacketTrap. We have on our community built into the product much more advanced scripts like firing and installing third-party applications and whatnot. You create a package, and what a package is pretty much an if-then type of conditioning. So if this script runs, and all it is, what do you want the system to do? So this is based on a frequency, a schedule, and whatnot. And then down here, that it'd be based on an individual script or a package. So where you actually specify the device, the target, who gets notified, when you run, and whatnot. Now this module right here can be used for more maintenance type mode scripts, the ones that run regularly. for things. You can also run scripts based on a condition or an action. So this is just one place to run the custom scripts. I'll go over the second one a little bit. Another feature we support, this is for Windows patches. Members can be done multiple ways, either through the device view tab that we were previously, or you can click on add devices here, depending on where you are, so you don't have to go back and forth. So automatic updates criteria. So what's the default action for this particular update? Critical updates, we're going to go ahead and click approve. That's going to automatically approve these patches. We can individually approve a patch. That's good to go out. And if the patch requires a reboot, what do you want the system to do? You just monitor and scan, so you can run a report to your customer later, let them know, okay, these are the missing patches. If you want this is how much out. With Viper, so you can use this module here to deploy AV agents. This requires having an agent installed. So this is a little bit of a SIP. It's just think of it as a cat file being downloaded. It's a separate solution, separate monitoring policies that are independent of the policies I'll go over in a little bit. Exclusions, exceptions. So path to scan, paths to include, and whatnot. Adding from here, just click on that devices you want to deploy the agent to, and then you can select the time when you want to do that. You have your agent and all the logs. We have our administrative section. I won't spend too much time on this, just a minute, just kind of user. So anything behind the scenes in the PacketTrap interface that you are working on. You got your PSA integrations, custom SNMP monitors, license updates, settings, branding. So anywhere you see PacketTrap MSP, you're going to have your own company logo there. Configuration and whatnot. So just to show you, and then we'll to the dashboard and kind of wrap up with policy configurations and automation. And pretty much, create global notification rules for these individuals. Message to go out or to send it as an email. What type of authority do you want them to have? Goes on. So what we do, and I'll talk about this in a little bit, is baseline. This is to create an average over a period of time for certain fields such as CPU, disk, anything that has, is kind of like an anomaly that sometimes spikes. So to mitigate against those false positives, a baseline over a period of time, generally 4 weeks. You have data points at that point. Do a little bit sooner, you can do that. When I'll show you alerts, this is where it is configured. So a lot of people like, where do you configure the baseline? That's done in the administrative section here. To dashboards is a knock view of all your customers' data in view. So here I'm looking at top disk usage across all my customers. It just has to be all Acme networks, and you hear dental office and stuff like that. A few companies here. Most of the devices are spread. Spread just on the Acme Networks company. I can a web UI, so I can have my company's web UI, or I can put somebody else's if they want to log in. So I can make this a customer-facing portal as well. Basic configuration administration. So we have built-in gadgets. So each one of these little square top disk, open source, interface chart, this is what we call a gadget. You can add gadget on the right-hand side. These are all the pre-canned gadgets, as well as a few custom gadgets that I've created. If there's a gadget out there, and there's a wizard that walks you through it, the gadget manager, pretty simple, and it's got a lot of fields that we can add here. We can throw this into a full screen mode, and what I'll do is cycle every 15 seconds, a minute, between different tabs. So again, I can knock Operation Center view of everything you want to be able to look at. Devices, their status, so I can see, well, this one is down. Double click, and it'll take me right into the device. Dashboard view, other people work, based off keywords because they're all in the field. Other people, do it away either through a PSA or something like that. Show you which one more gadget, and then we'll jump into the alerting framework. The traffic flow that I showed you earlier. So I get customers familiar with this and get technicians using this in a global setting. Here, the interface utilization, at the same time, be able to quickly look at, okay, what endpoints are causing that. Double click on them and drill right into the source to take a look. Many columns and gadgets here as I want. You guys have been kind of quiet. I know I have you all on mute, but just so let's take a little 1-minute break, see if anybody has any questions, and I'm going to jump into the policy section where we do all our alerting. So yeah, with the UI is a fully functional dashboard. So you can click around here, it'll take you through wherever you go. So what I'm monitoring on it, processes, counters, this device real quick, Windows 2012. One of the columns here, so there it is. Again, running SQL, we have that tab here. Automatically, it'll be displayed, so whether it's Exchange, SQL, got the logged in users, events logs. System event logs, and that's why I don't have any here. So we can double check. We go to configuration. Again, QA build. So all these devices are pretty much VMs for no purposes. Let's see here. I think we missed some modules. I'm just going to those a little bit, or the wireless controllers. This one's pretty cool because it puts all your access points together. You see the device is connected, model number, locate that. Jump into the exchange policy here. All the policies are pretty much similar in terms of their workflow and layout. So yeah, this is a global policy. So this policy, a little blue globe, that it's across all your customers. So you should see if put a desktop from dental networks into this policy, I'm going to see it here as well. So when I make changes, it applies to all my customers. That can be applied to one specific individual customer, individual device, without having to rewrite the policy. Your policy, you have 5 minutes, memory, CPU usage, ports. These settings, there's some additional settings that can be customized. You have your syslog listener, SNMP traps if we're collecting those, hardware, and whatnot. Apply custom monitors to this device if I wanted to. And then alerts. So we have some pre-canned alerts here. We have templates built in, specific applications. Controllers and whatnot, as well as your own alert. Where the meet the road, so to speak. And on the left-hand side is give it a friendly name, severity, priority, how you want to be notified, if you want to require a manual reset or auto reset, either based on condition or based on a time interval. So if no one responds to it, it triggers again. The escalation's built into the logic of the alert. And the way it works is just if A, then B. If not B, then C. If A, which can be a multitude of conditions, you have to be just careful the way you structure it. So you can disk free size. If it's greater than X, notify me. And we're at the baseline. So this is alerting off a fixed value, and we can also compare it to a baseline. So you might want both. Have a fixed value, when it reaches a certain point, I want to be alerted, right? But what if somebody all of a sudden starts downloading a huge file, and their database grows exponentially fast, 20% over the baseline in under 10 minutes. Well, that's indicative of something, right? So you may want to create an alert like that. Same kind of to interface utilization, memory, CPU, anything that has an average to it. So you have change counters. So LDAP, you have connections. What is that? Change, and I know transport layer. Some uptime, switch temperature speed, ping. Let's see, you have your monitors that you created. You can alert off those as well. So aligners, late collisions, once you go here, you can just create all these here. Alert when all conditions met, and then action. Whether you wanted to stop a service, kill a process, or from here be able to run a custom script. So another place that we can run custom scripts from. Where if somebody hasn't responded in a particular period of time, you can go ahead and get notified, and then a reset condition. So if it goes baseline, you can reset it automatically. So it takes itself. That way it's logged, but the alert got reset. alerts that we can create. Syslog messages, so we can alert off any severity or, if a message contains. With that said, this is a high-level overview of the PacketTrap solution. So for Q&A, and if anybody has questions out there, follow up with the ones that were asked earlier. Any questions and alert off certain things, or maybe you'd like to see some more capabilities, you're looking for something in particular, if you just want to type it into the chat window, I'd be happy to address that right now. So we'll give everybody about a minute, 5 minutes to write those out. Okay. So does not any kind of VPN connection. Customers will communicate back to either a full domain name or a DNS or a static IP. So yes, they can connect over a VPN connection back to your server, however you structure it. But the way it's architectured is to work through a fully qualified domain name that your customers need to have, but you need to have. So this is a qualified domain name that each agent communicates back to. If I connect to this solution, you can give them a thin client to install and give them customer access so that they can only see their site. So they're not going to be able to see other sites and whatnot. Answers that question. If there's not any more questions here, don't have to be shy. If you're okay, we'll probably give you a couple of calls later today to see if you'd like to, let me pull up slide here that I'm instructed to. I'm sure there'll be a pop-up, a landing page when you guys exit the WebEx there. If you want to contact us, PacketTrap.com. Contact info is Mike. Let me pull that again here. You guys Mike.plotkin@quest.com. An email. I'll do my best to reply, guys. Look forward to chatting with all of you, not most of you, sometime in the near future. So, on the web, on the communities, and your feedback, and hopefully informative to some of you guys out there. If there's any other questions, again, please don't hesitate to shoot me an email. Cool. All right. You guys are welcome to jump off if you want. stuff like that, I will wait around to the end. There is an update coming out in the very near future. We will be able to sync the PSA. By the way, there is me. That's exactly what I look like. No more questions. I will jump off. You all enjoy your day. Happy holidays, and talk to you soon. Cheers.